Hey, I thought I would do a little bit on uh, the first person tutorial series. I'm going to just come out of this real quick. I want to turn this volume down on, oh, he is down. He's down to 0.2 because I got this volume I'm putting up. Maybe I should put that one down actually and put this one up and see how that is. Anyways, so where do we leave off? We have our title menu, and it's nothing fancy. And we can run over. We got a little hoppy animation thing happening. We can select weapons. It's a little slow, and we can shoot. Well, yeah. So we have to do a reload animation. Because technically, right there, he's shooting because he has to reload. But now that he's reloaded, and we can shoot. Right? And that's our little demo AI guy. He doesn't do anything now. He barely has any logic. Right? He'll keep playing that thing over and over. So we need to obviously do a bit of work there. So let's go into where did I stick our guys? Let's go over to our little menu, our thing here, and let's create our player. Where's our player? There's our player. There he is. Just hanging out, doing his thing. Okay. So those are just the arms. So if we want some sort of, that's the HUD. There's the arms. That's what I'm looking for. Right, so we have, for example, under these arms, if I go to the animator, right, we have equipped the idle to aim, coming out of aim and firing. We don't have a reload yet, and that's kind of one thing that we kind of need to do. Right now, if I was smart, I would have put an object in with these arms in order to do like a clip. I think adding it now might cause issues, possibly, but I can always try. Why not? So into our folder, if we have props, we should have, might even be under weapons. No, it'll be under the props. We should have a clip. Somewhere. Let's see if we can find it. There's those. Let's just look for clips, I guess. V weapon clip, grenade clip. No, we don't have really much of anything, I guess. So, what do we have that could do for a clip? I mean, even the barrel, I can just shrink it down, I suppose. Turret base, turret large. No, those won't do. So I guess maybe just the barrel. Let's just use the barrel. It's massive. So we're going to definitely need to shrink that dramatically. And I am going to stick it under the arms and move its position. And let's just get it up in the camera to see how big it is. It's actually not that bad of a size. I'll go a little bigger. Right? That's probably pretty good. Oh yeah. So, a reload. Let's go to our window and just quickly do, I'm not going to go all crazy and make some fancy thing. But say we want to make pistol reload. Let's save that. Alright, so we're going to record. And in the recording, we're going to have this guy. I'm going to make sure he's active. And actually, you know what? I'm going to stick him kind of okay, I almost want to parent it to the gun. Alright, so I want it to sit right, say roughly here. Kind of like a standard clip kind of idea. Somewhere like that. It is going to be perfect. And then it's a lot easier if I can. I don't want to do this. No, let's put this. Oh man, we're gonna have so many windows here. Okay. So in a reload, let's go roughly, say, at that stage, and I'm going to grab the right arm, and we're actually going to bring it up. I'll have to move that barrel again because it's probably not going to stay. I'm literally just going to pop him up a bit. It's not going to go very far. You know, twist his arm a bit. Take his hand. You know, something, maybe something like that. And right, so his hand's gonna go whoop. And then we are gonna take, okay, so it's going to be sitting there, and meanwhile, say roughly here, we want, where's the right? Left. Left, I mean left. This guy is going to start be moving in. Yeah, so he's somewhere around there maybe. Yeah, we can maybe, I don't know, adjust his fingers just a bit. There's his thumb. Let's make it so his thumb's kind of opening. Right, so this kind of comes up. And then from there, then we'll take this hand. He's going to come in. Okay, not quite like that. And he is going to be kind of, it's going to look like he's say grabbing something. Oh, I am not in the right space there. That's gonna always try to make sure to spin these things on their local. It just makes life better, much easier. I mean, for what I'm doing, it's not that big of a deal. But hey. Alright, so now we have, he's going to just twist that a bit. Let's go in, down, and in. And he's not going to reach, so I'm going to cheat. So this is a bad habit to do. Alright, and maybe I'll move this guy, just make him come back a little bit. So it's a little closer. That'll make it a little better for this other hand. Really don't want to spend too much time on this. Alright, so it's, I don't know, he'll come up. It's just some sort of horrendous animation. Yeah, that one there, I'm going to actually have him not quite as close. Let's move him back some. So he's going to grab it here, and then say around here he's going to be pulling it out, right? So now he's going to have this little bit of a jerking motion. I don't want to adjust the hand too much there. And let's just bring these fingers down like he's grasping something maybe a bit. So really not trying to go do this quickly more than anything, right? But more importantly, this barrel needs to be kind of in that hand, or at least look like it's in the hand. Right, so this, and then, well, yeah, right, so at this stage right there, we want to make sure this barrel is actually, you know, at least somewhat hidden inside the gun. Actually, you know what I should do? Let's just turn that barrel off. And here, turn it on. Then I'm not going to worry about it. You know, and then as he's kind of pulling, he does that initial pull. I'm going to take that right hand and just slightly give it just a smidge. You know, right, so it's and then right, so as soon as he has that, we're going to come down here and we're just going to take this left hand real quick. We're going to go more or less bring it off screen. We need to take that barrel with it because the barrel's not attached. Uh-oh. What did I do? Right, so at this stage, little barrel, you come down here, you gotta stay with that hand. Stay there. Stick with the hand. That's I mean, it's not the best way to. Why is that barrel being silly now? Right, so he activates. Listen here, little barrel. I mean, it would have been smarter for me to have a couple different models, right? You have one child of the hand and child of the gun and stuff, and then you can just deactivate and reactivate them, and you don't have to worry about this kind of crap. But hey, I'm going to do everything the hard way, apparently. Why? I have no idea. So that barrel needs to be just about off with these guys there. As soon as he's there, I'm going to turn him off. Forget he even exists now. And then I'm going to bring that hand back up. Alright, so now we hit this little stage. So it looks like we've pulled a clip out. All dramatic. And we're going to take this left hand now. He's going to come back up. And we're going to stick him close, but not quite there. And yes, the dumb barrel needs to come back. So let's turn him on. Actually, no, we should come back here. Turn the barrel on here. So the barrel needs to be in this spot over here. Uh-oh, where's our barrel? Turn on. Oh, you need to be on, not off. Okay, so let's just bring him up. And let's, while we're doing that, let's take this right. Because you also want this thing kind of moving too. You don't want this thing to ever really stop moving. So he kind of goes just slightly. Right, you have to adjust that barrel. This is a horrendous animation, but it's really just for show. It's not. It's definitely not a good way to animate. You probably shouldn't animate like this. So it's much better use multiple objects, have them children of the hands and stuff, and you can just activate and deactivate them. So much easier. Right, and then at the end, we are going to take this left hand and we're just going to slam it in. barrel. This cursed thing. We'll slam in. Go over 1 frame. Barrel can deactivate. We want some sort of slamming feeling to it, so we're just going to take this guy and just jerk him a bit. Right, we have this kind of a insanely fast. Alright, and then all we're going to do then is just come over here and just try to put this guy somewhere back where he belongs, somewhere. I'm just going to stuff him over there and then let the blend tree actually handle that, as long as it's rough. Right, relatively close. Plays insanely fast. So, not a big deal though. That's a pretty easy little fix. So we can go to the pistol arms. Oh, we have a pistol reload. And we're going to put that at like 0.4 speed. And just have it go like that on reload. And delete him. Like I said, I mean, one of these days I should almost do like some sort of series on animations. Obviously nothing like that. That's a horrendous mess. But like I said, this whole tutorial is not based on trying to do the animation for the pistol. Yeah, okay, well, we have the idea that he's reloading. that's the important part. Alright, so let's go over here. So we have our little ammo pickup. We should probably have like our enemy AI. I don't know if we should build him right now, maybe. So he has health, really, and that's all he has. And you know, if you're using the newer PlayMaker, you'll have this thing called block events, and until event received. Okay, how about that one? Because you're not going to use that. That should give him the ability, because usually when you do death and stuff, like with the animations and hitting, like you have to kind of disable various things. And normally I use a bool for it, but I'm going to test this. Right, so see how he's not doing his animation? So if I look at him right now, see how he's in this, he's died, he's dead. And if I hit play and I shoot him, I should be sending, oh geez, don't do that, the damage to him, but it's not happening. That's because of that block events is there. It's blocking that event. Now, like, I don't have to run. You know, like normally you might disable FSMs and put in variables and stuff. So it's kind of a neat little thing that they've brought in. So anywho, here's our AI, and he has his getting hurt and killing, right? Pretty simple. So the other thing the AI might want is sight. I'm trying to think of the best way to do sight. So when we create our player, I just want to check something. Do we stuff him into a global? So new game, load, we do stuff, we create player, we store it into created player. Okay, so we at least have a variable of it. And if we were smart, we would move this to a global variable. All right. And this kind of allows us to do one very fancy little thing with the AI. So now there's numerous ways to kind of do this. Maybe I'll show a few of them. But, anywho, so if I now hit play, and we come into here, if I look at the manager, I've had issues with globals and stuff, so it's probably good to double check this. We have this player in our globals, which is what you would expect to happen, right? If I look at the global variables, created player, okay, he is there. So AI is, when it comes to sight, it's there's numerous ways to do sight. So we have some sort of sensory system, but because of the style of game, you got one player, he's going to be going through a level. We don't need to surprise the AI and be like, oh my god, look, you've seen a player do something, it's a little crazy. Instead we have get let's just use set game object. Let's set a player with the global current player. All right, so now we do that, then we turn around and say, let's say get distance, maybe. No, let's not use distance. I mean, level's not going to be some big open world thing. Let's create a little object, and I'm going to bring it up roughly to head height, somewhere in there. You can even name this sight. And this guy is going to look at actually, I'm going to even put this into a variable. There we go. It's a variable. Okay, so we want sight to look at the player. Don't worry about keeping it vertical. Not every frame. And then I want to raycast. I'll use raycast 2. again, you don't necessarily have to use raycast to raycast from object also works. So I want to raycast site, and we're going to go direction in the Z, distance 100's fine. Actually, I'm going to bring that down, and we have scene player, not C player. And that's pretty much it. So if we haven't seen the player, what do we want to do? Well, we want to wait. Oh yeah, 1 second's probably good. Why not? We're just going to loop and do it again. But if we see the player, then we want to actually do something, right? Like such as chase the player, move into position and shoot kind of idea. So just to show you how well this kind of works, let's take him, stick him back here. Let's hit save, go back out to the title and hit play. Now we come over here, we hit new, and if I go over to this AI, well, apparently he has seen, oh, he didn't get the player. Didn't get the player variable. Alright, so let's fix that. So let's, you know what, let's go every frame and do a is null every frame, and if player is not null, then we'll finish. Until then, just sit there and wait until you have the player. Okay, so we've loaded that up. Come over here, go to our enemy AI. So now he's actually waited. Once he got the player, he's raycasting. And apparently he said he hit. Oh yeah, of course he hit. Duh. How dumb of me. So I mean, of course he's going to hit, right? He's standing in front of a wall, right? And we're right, this is just checking if we hit. And because of the layers, and we don't want it so it's just hitting the player. We want it to hit the walls so that we have walls that are, you know, blocking the site. Okay, so we've seen the player, and we're shooting our raycast. So we're going to store our hit object. This is what I seen. And now I am just going to object compare. You can also just compare the tag. I don't know if that would be any faster in code or not, but the player to this is the object I've seen, and if they're equal, then yes, I've seen the player. Right, go on to the next step, or you know, it's probably seen a wall. All right. So now, let's try this again. I'm going to take this off of maximize play so I don't have to pause it. Right, so I hit new, come over here. Apparently I still, because of the mouse. Right, now if we look at this guy, oh, I can't unpause it. Resume. He's trying to look at the player, right? Like the player's there, he's firing his raycast, he's hitting the wall, which is to be expected. But if I move over here, right, he didn't hit the wall anymore, he hit the player. So he can now essentially see me, Now the other important thing to do is let's get angle, and we want from the owner to the player, ignore height, yes, angle. So, and make sure this is from the owner, not from the site object, because the site object is looking right at the player, so the angle should be like 0. So if this is the angle, oh, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I want that angle, and then I want float compare. Is that angle, say, less than 90? All right, so if it's equal, we've seen the player. If it's less, we've seen the player. If it's not, then we haven't seen the player, because the player is, you know, like, we're not facing the right direction, right? And the other thing I'm going to do, because I know this one seems to like to fire before this guy, or fire after, I think just because of the calculations, I'm going to put this state into an action sequence. So it's going to fire this, right? That's what this little arrow here does, right? So this one's normal, right? It's flat, but this guy has those little angles. So now if we go, and let's just take our little AI, and now let's even spin him around. Okay. So we resume game. Oh, I should bring up his sensory so we can watch this. So he can technically see us, like the raycast is now hitting us because it's not being blocked by the wall anymore, but because of the angle, we're still telling him that he can't see us. And it's not until we get over here that all of a sudden he can see us. Now that angle seemed a little wide, but obviously that's all preference. All right, I'm gonna go say, I'll even cut it down to 60, because that's also 60 degrees going each way, right? So if the forward is this red, right, or the blue now coming up, it's 60 degrees going this way and 60 degrees going this way, right? So technically the whole arc is 120 degrees of his sight, which is pretty big, right? That's pretty big, right? Be a third. Okay, so anyways, the AI has seen the player. What do we want the AI to do? Well, we want him to, we'll even just say smooth look at the player, keep vertical, decent speed. Let's give him a tolerance of 15 degrees. All right, so here we have, let's bunch these ones together. This is our initial site. This is our references. I'm going to create this guy here. This little group here is our check for site. But over here now we have, we're looking at them. And while we're doing this, though, I also want this to happen. Because if he sees the player and then the player hides behind a wall, we need something to happen, right? So we want this kind of same stuff, only this time I'm not going to do any of this. I think I'm just going to see, I'm going to do the tag one. I mean, you can do compare, but really, the whole point of the whole thing is to try to teach you guys how to do various things, and there's more than one way to do various things. So the object of what I've seen is it the player. So if this ends up being false, you know, we have lost the player, right? Now you could just have it so he goes back to it doing whatever the hell he was doing, but the chances are we're going to want to do some sort of chasing state. Right, and then once this part happens, right, the actual finish, we're going to want him to say shoot something, right? So let's even just test that. Let's make sure he spins at us and right. All right, so he's having, okay, so we have an angle thing happening, because that smooth look at isn't happening constantly because it has that finish, right? Because he's over here, right? So overall, pretty normal. Oh, I hear my young daughter waking up. Maybe I'll get lucky. She'll go back to sleep. So we're looking at this thing, and once we've achieved, we're going to, let's say, let's create an object. That's going to be our muzzle. So ultimately, how do I want to do this? Let's run this into two different FSMs. Right, and because in this FSM we could have a bool shoot available. Right, so this can now be set FSM bool into shoot available to true. If we've lost a player, then obviously it's going to be a false. And I'm going to stick it over here as well, just to make sure that's a false when we're over there. So then once this happens, I am going to wait. I'll just do a quarter of a second. Go here. Now that should make it so he pretty much just looks at us the whole time. I can't hit play because that's not going to work, because we need to go to our title. And I'm going to take this guy and stuff him up here. Right, it's because now he's looking at us. Right, he's got a little bit of adjustment time, which is fine. It actually looks pretty good like that. And then he'd be firing his shots right now because he has that available shot. Right now, if we come over here, his available shot should now hit false. Alright, so he can't shoot now. So that's kind of one of those things. So he needs behavior of A, actually firing the gun and hitting the player and damaging, and then the other thing he'll have to add into here is, I don't know, because we'll just change the player's layer tag or something, is to actually move towards the player. If he's seen the player but then lost the player, but then have it X amount of time and then go back to whatever he was doing, some patrol or whatever the case is. But anyways, since my daughter woke up and she is upset, I should probably go deal with her. It is 2 in the morning. So I think this was kind of a shorter video then, wasn't it? I guess decently long. 46 minutes is pretty long. I think in the next one obviously we'll definitely tackle a lot more with that AI. Actually get the AI shooting and moving, doing his patrol. So anyways, we'll talk to you guys later.